Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lalit Rao, and today I'm going to read some maxims and interludes from Beyond Good and Evil, written by the great German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, 1844 1900. Beyond Good and Evil is one of Nietzsche's most famous works. This book established Nietzsche's reputation as the leading German as well as European philosopher of his time. Beyond Good and Evil was published for the first time in 1886 under its German title Jenseits von Gut und Böse. It is famous for its refusal of traditional Western thought with its fundamental notions of truth and God, good and evil. Nietzsche criticized Christianity, especially its piety and slave mentality. According to Beyond Good and Evil, Nietzsche suggested that individual imposed own will to power upon the world. Part 4 of this book is about maxims and interludes. Now I'm going to read some chosen maxims and interludes which would explain some key points of Nietzschean philosophy. He who is a teacher from the very heart takes all things seriously only with reference to his students, even himself. Knowledge for its own sake, this is the last snare set by morality. One therewith gets completely entangled with it once more. The charm of knowledge would be small if so much shame did not have to be overcome on the road to it. One is most dishonest towards one's God. He is not permitted to sin. He who attends his idol by that very fact transcends it. Love of one is a piece of barbarism, for it is practiced at the expense of all others. Love of God likewise. I have done that, says my memory. I cannot have done that, says my pride, and remains adamant. At last, memory yields. If one has character, one also has one's typical experience which recurs again and again. Under conditions of peace, the warlike man attacks himself. It is not the strength but the duration of exalted sensations which makes exalted men. It is inhuman to bless when one is cursed. He who despises himself still nonetheless respects himself as one who despises. Ultimately, one loves one's desires and not that which is desired. A soul which knows it is loved but does not itself love betrays its dregs, its lowest part comes up. Even concubinage has been corrupted by marriage. It is dreadful to die of thirst in the sea. Do you have to salt your truth so much that it can no longer even quench thirst? Woman learns how to hate to the extent that she unlearns how to charm. One begins to mistrust very clever people when they become embarrassed. The same emotions in men and women are, however, different in tempo. Therefore, men and women never cease to misunderstand one another. Terrible experiences make one wonder whether he who experiences them is not something terrible. The disappointed man speaks. I listened for an echo and I heard only praise. Mature manhood, that means to have rediscovered the seriousness one had as a child at play. There are no moral phenomena at all, only a moral interpretation of phenomena. To be ashamed of one's immorality, that is a step on the ladder at the end of which one is also ashamed of one's morality. The tremendous expectation in regard to sexual love and the shame involved in this expectation distorts all a woman's perspective from the start. There is an innocence in admiration. He has it to whom it has not yet occurred that he too could one day be admired. Disgust with dirt can be so great that it prevents us from cleaning ourselves, from justifying ourselves. Science offends the modesty of all genuine women. They feel as if one were trying to look under their skin, or worse, under their clothes and finery. The more abstract the truth you want to teach, the more you must seduce the senses to it. One is punished most for one's virtues. All credibility, all good conscience, all evidence of truth comes only from the senses. One seeks a midwife for his thoughts, another someone to whom he can be a midwife. Thus originates a good conversation. What we do in dreams, we also do when we are awake. We invent and fabricate the person with whom we associate and immediately forget we have done so. The chastest expression I have ever heard, dans le véritable amour, c'est l'âme qui enveloppe le corps. Comparing men and women in general, one may say women would not have the genius for finery if she did not have the instinct for the secondary role. He who fights with monsters shall look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And when you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. It is not enough to possess a talent. One must also possess your permission to possess it. My friends, that which is done out of love always takes place beyond good and evil. The sense of the tragic increases and diminishes with sensuality. Madness is something rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, peoples, ages, it is the rule. The thought of suicide is a powerful solace. By means of it, one gets through many a bad night. To talk about oneself a great deal can also be a means of concealing oneself. You utilitarians, you too love everything, useful only as a vehicle of your inclinations. You too really find the noise of its wheels intolerable. The vanity of others offends our taste only when it offends our vanity. Perhaps no one has ever been sufficiently truthful about what truthfulness is. Clever people are not credited with their follies. What a deprivation of human rights. There is an innocence in lying which is a sign of good faith in a cause. I did not like it. Why? I'm not up to it. Has anyone ever answered like that? I would like to end this video about Maxims and interlude from Beyond Good and Evil by German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. This is the last maxim. I repeat, I do not like it. Why? I'm not up to it. Has anyone ever answered like that? Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.